Hi everyone, hope you're all doing good. Okay, so this is the fourth round draw for the 27th edition of the Tapology Lucky Bastard Game. Last round we started with 10, now we cut the field in half and we're down to just 5. So I'll just quickly run through who those 5 remaining Lucky Bastards are. And they are A, or A Laugh My Ass Off and AZ, Cool Hand Puke, KK Kombu, the MMA historian, and ex-con Chris. So, you'll be pleased to know this is obviously going to be a shorter video as a result of there only being 5 of you in it. And you 5 are going to be in the draw for UFC 313, Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev. And yeah, this is a very close fight, isn't it? It's um, very tough to call. I'd say that Ankalaev's probably going to be the toughest opponent that Pereira has faced so far in his championship run. Um, so we'll start with the champion anyway, Alex Pereira. He's obviously got the knockout power. We've all seen that. Extremely high level kickboxer. No question, he's the best kickboxer in the upper weight classes in the UFC. Um, I suppose the logical reason would be to be go by him for a knockout, but Ankalaev, on the other hand, is I wouldn't say he's as good on the feet as Pereira, obviously, but he isn't bad on the feet. On top of that, he's much stronger grappling than Pereira. Pereira's grappling is fairly underrated, to be fair. So it's uh, I can't really see Ankalaev submitting him or anything like that. But I think if Ankalaev's going to win, it's going to be by a decision, and it'd have to control yeah, control the fight through his grappling, really. Because if he tries to stand and fight with Pereira, that's not going to end well. Um, but Ankalaev's very tough, so I can't see Pereira finishing him. It's a very tough fight. I've gone back and forth on this a whole bunch of times. So at the moment, I'm siding with Alex Pereira to win by decision. Um, Yeah, extremely close. And funny enough, actually, they both have a split decision win over Jan Blachowicz. So this is definitely the fight to make a light heavyweight, no question about it. Anyway, so a 50-50 main event. Let's hope that the luck for the 5 remaining lucky bastards is a little bit better than that. As we just make sure I'm still sharing my screen here. I've got a funny little pop up there. There we go. Right, yeah. Let's just hope that the have a slightly more than a 50-50 chance of getting through. Um, we'll start with A. Let's see who he gets drawn with. A gets Joshua Van. Joshua Van for A there. And it's off to a good start because I've got Joshua Van to win by decision against Ray Tsuruara. No, I haven't pronounced that one right. I apologize, Ray. And for every Japanese person on the planet. So Joshua Van is 5-1 in the UFC. Very good record and well for the promotion, especially seeing he's only 12-2 and it's almost half of in his whole career. So almost half of his fights have been in the UFC. Um, he does have power, yes, but he does win most of his fights by controlling the fight and winning a unanimous decision most of the time. So it's a bit of a decisionator, really, but nothing wrong with that. It works for him. That's how I see him winning again this time around. As for Ray Tsusuriara, or just call him Ray, it's probably best for diplomatic relations between the UK and Japan if I just call him Ray from here on in. Um, One is UFC debut. He's still only 22, very good looking prospects. Has had a whole bunch of fights in Pancrase as well. Came to prominence through the road to UFC. That's how he came to be in the UFC. No really glaringly obvious flaws in his game so far, still undefeated, but I think Joshua Van's experience at controlling uh fights in the UFC, that's the main thing that splits them really, is just the quality of the opposition they faced, even as though there's not much between them in their overall careers. Joshua Van's faced more UFC fighters than Ray has. And as much as I personally like the production of Pancrase, their fighters aren't on the same level as the UFC. So yeah, anyway, I think A's off to a good start there. So we'll move on to Cool Hand Puke now. Let's see who Cool Hand Puke will be drawn with for tomorrow night. And he gets John Castaneda. John Castaneda there for Cool Hand Puke. And I've got Chris Gutierrez to win that one by decision, truthfully. Chris Gutierrez is a little bit inconsistent, but I mean, sort of gone win loss, win loss, win loss, and then God knows what else after that. But um, in his last few fights, and but the one thing that has been consistent about him is they've usually gone the distance. He's when he wins, it's by just outpointing his opponent, and then when he loses, well, again, it's he's just not been finished. As for John Castaneda, is lost against a decision against Daniel Marcos last time, and yeah, so someone that sort of regularly goes the distance against someone that lost the decision last time out. It's on recent form. That's pretty much all I'm really splitting them on. So yeah, that's Chris Gutierrez for the decision there. So it's my prediction for that one. It's interesting to note they've both had the same number of fights, or almost the same record. Uh, Chris Gutierrez has got a record of 21 wins, 5 losses, and 2 draws, whereas John Castaneda's got 21 wins. Although instead of splitting the other 7 fights between draws and losses, he's lost all 7. So 21 and 7 record there. But the same number of fights overall, and not much to split them really. I mean, for Gutierrez, those 2 draws could have easily been losses, could have easily been wins as well. But just by a fraction, I'm going with Castaneda there for decision win. And I think this might be where Cool Hand Puke says goodbye to the competition personally. But we'll see. We'll see if there's a fifth round or not. KK Kombu next to face the wheel. It's right on the edge, but he gets Mauricio Ruffy there uh, for KK Kombu. And excuse me. Ah, he did that for me. Right. Anyway, Mauricio Ruffy. I've got him to win by decision. Um, won his first 2 fights in the UFC, 11 and 1 overall. Um, he's won quite a lot of his by knockout, but he's not like he doesn't really have one punch KO power as such. It's more generally by a sort of a flurry of punches. He's quite a few of them are TKOs where he just finds an opening and then just starts blitzing his opponents really. So that's so you think that his path to victory would be by knockout or technical knockout to be more precise, but he's facing King Green, a very experienced UFC veteran with an incredible record actually by comparison of 32 wins, 16 losses, and 1 draw compared to the 11 and 1 of Ruffy. Um, on the decline, in my opinion, because he's 38 years old. He's getting older. He's slowing down a little bit. lost by submission to Paddy Plimbert last time out, which is a fighter who a prime King Green would have beaten, in my opinion. But it's obviously not saying stone that Ruffy can get a win because obviously Green's got the experience. He can easily uh like I say there's nothing Ruffy has that King wouldn't have seen in his careers. But I don't know, I just think King, Green would have slowed down a little bit too much. But especially if Ruffy starts blitzing away at him with the sort of speed that he does, that might not end well. But I can't really see him being finished. I think Green's good enough to go the distance at least, but I think the speed is just going to be a bit too much for him. But anyway, I reckon overall for what that means for the game, anyway, I reckon KK Kombu could be getting through. So that's of the three that have gone so far, I reckon A and KK Kombu are getting through. Obviously, we'll just mention, obviously, because we're down to five, this might be the last round. It obviously depends. Well, any round in theory could be the last round, but um, it's more likely at this stage. The game before ended when there was eight people still in it. Um, so if there's two or more of you left, then we'll go on to a fifth round. If there's only one of you left in it, then obviously there'll be the winner. We start a new game. Or if you all end up getting losing fighters, then obviously that'll be it. That'll be game over, and the wheel wins again. But we don't want to see that. But so far, I reckon we're fairly reasonably confident that we'll have a fifth round, and there's still two more to go. Next is the MMA historian. So let's see who he'll be drawn with. He gets Ozzy Diaz opening the card for us. That's Ozzy Diaz for the MMA historian. Uh, yeah, very much a kill or be killed fighter, isn't he? Sort of wins by knockout or loses by knockout. Um, lost his UFC debut, so he's got a point to prove, but it's not a great start, really. It's not a great first impression for UFC fans, especially when you lose by knockout as well. Um, has fought in the LFA before, um, but again, it's a good experience. So that's one of the better regional promotions. So he's got that going for him. But he did lose his contender series shot. He got a few fights before that, so I don't know. He's a bit of a mixed bag, isn't he, Ozzy? But entertaining fights either way, that's for sure. So this time around, though, ironically, I've just spoken about how he usually loses by knockout. He's up against Jordan Santos. I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce that one, but it's being pronounced with a DJ. But um, he's a much more careful fighter, a much more cautious approach to his game. Um, So I think it would be unlikely for us to see him knock out um, Ozzy Diaz. So I think he'll probably stick to his usual game plan, and yeah, just sort of control the fight, cruise to decision win, take another win, and move on. But interesting style of fighting, a very cautious fighter versus a um, very wild fighter, I suppose we should say. Or maybe that will work the opposite way. Maybe Santos won't be able to handle Diaz's pressure. Um, maybe if he, I don't know, maybe he gets into a little bit of a sort of a frenzied whirlwind attack, Santos might not be able to cope. So, but we'll see. I don't think that'll be the case. So, I think Santos be able to get another win here. But as for the MMA historian, I'm afraid he might be lucky bastard history as well after tomorrow night. But let's just see what ex-con Chris is is going to have to be paired with tomorrow. Who role he's going to be paired with tomorrow night? Not what. They're not machines. They might look it at times, but they're not machines. But ex-con Chris will be hoping he doesn't become lucky bastard history anyway. See who he gets. Whose corner is he going to be in for tomorrow? Oh, nearly got Aussie again. but instead he also ends up on the John Castaneda hype train, uh, along with Cool Hand Puke earlier. So, as I've mentioned before, there is I'm not overly confident on his chances of getting through against Chris Gutierrez. As again, again, I got Gutierrez to win by decision, um, and Castaneda lost his decision in his last fight. So I don't know. It's trying to think of something else positive to say about Castaneda. But it's again, to be fair, he does also go the distance quite a lot, but not always on the right end of the scorecards though. So he's not a fighter I'm overly confident on, truth be told. So anyway, that concludes the Lucky Bastard game fourth round draw. Uh, so let's just reiterate who's got who. So I'm surprised we actually got a double up actually with only five people in here, but anyway, we have A, Laugh Last Off an AZ or A with Joshua Van, Cool Hand Puke with John Castaneda, as is ex-con Chris, KK Combo with Mauricio Ruffy, and the MMA historian with Ozzy Diaz. So that's the draw complete for another week, and we'll see if there's going to be another round after this or not. Because from my predictions, I think there will be, but I think it's just going to be the two of you. I think it would just be A and yeah, probably KK Combo as well um, to go through. But I've been proven wrong countless times before, so we'll see. But obviously, if there's two or more, we'll be on to a fifth round. If only one of you wins as a winning fighter, then that'll be you'll be our champion. And if, of course, all five of you get knocked out in this round, then the wheel will have to be declared the winner, I'm afraid. So hopefully it's not the latter option, but we'll just have to uh, sit back in tomorrow night's fights and hope that at least the game has a winner, or at least carries on. As long as the wheel doesn't win, that's the main thing. But anyway, good luck for your picks tomorrow night. If you got any bets on this card, good luck with those. And until next time, so long for now.